Good morning. We've been potty training for like 2 months, but I've been so inconsistent with it because I don't like getting out of bed in the morning. He wakes me up way earlier than I'm ready to get up. So we miss that. He still doesn't have any cues, but he's already over, like, he's almost 15 months, so we're way late on starting. I meant to start at 6 months, but I have really bad postpartum depression, so it's gonna suck, but I refuse to have a 3-year-old in diapers, so we're working on it. Also, just to jump right to the chase, my last video kind of blew up for my channel. I've been posting forever, and I've always documented my life, and I've never posted with the intention of getting views. And it's getting views. So 99% of you have no idea who I am. I'm gonna do a little voiceover here for you. My last video got a significant amount of views for my channel. I know people say that if you don't get 1 million views, it's not viral or whatever, but I have been posting on this channel for about a decade. My old videos are privated, so you can't see them, but I have been posting for a long time. My channel has been here for a long time, and I've always had the same amount of people watching my stuff, and I've always just documented my life, not with the intention of gaining viewership, but kind of posting videos for my older self to look back on, and for international friends and family who wanted to check in on my life in a video sense. And then I started having a couple of videos gain over 1,000 views, and I would kind of sit back and be like, oh, that's a lot of people. I actually deleted a couple of videos that got 1,000 to 2,000 views because it felt like it was too much. When I checked this morning, my recent video has surpassed 12,000, and it's getting mass amounts of positivity and nice feedback and really good comments and really good advice and a lot of support, and I'm so thankful for that. It's so scary to post things about your life on the internet and have strangers judge you as if they know you. And I think a lot of people watch videos like mine, they watch that video and they think they know the situation, or they're confused because there's no context. And I think people forget that that was 15 edited minutes out of 1 day of my entire life. So no, there's not enough context, and no, you're not going to get context, and you don't know who I am, and people just kind of stop by, and it's intimidating. It's very intimidating to have that many people commenting on my life, even though it's positive. I don't post for reinforcement or validation. I don't expect feedback from people. You know, I have a couple people that always comment on my videos, and I like to see their usernames pop up. The idea of a bunch of strangers' comments popping up is daunting. But because I don't post for feedback or validation or criticism or anything, I was just getting so many comments that I have decided to disable comments on that video. Not because they were negative or because they were impacting my life in some way, but just because I was just feeling overwhelmed. You know, we've been homeless for 10 days now, and it's overwhelming. I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I don't pick up a camera every day, and I don't film every second of my life. I've been contacting the ministry. I got us on income assistance. I've got an apartment lined up. I talked to my employer about getting more hours. I have doctor's appointments to manage because I'm pregnant, and my son has, you know, doctor's appointments coming up. And I also manage my younger sibling. I manage all of their doctor's appointments and trying to get identification, and it's not a burden. It's something that I willingly chose to take on, but it's just like, there's so many things, right? There's so many things going on, and I think having hundreds of people commenting on my life as well, it just overwhelmed me. So I did turn the comments off. I might turn them back on later. I wanted to clarify a couple of things because there were a lot of consistent questions popping up in that video. So I will address some of them here. So my name is Anna. My life has been chaotic. I've always said my life is a soap opera. I had a really rough upbringing, and I've talked a little bit about it on my channel, but mostly I talk about it on my Instagram because I feel like it's more private and I can just kind of get things off my chest to a smaller group of people and not worry about things like this happening where I get 12,000 views on my video and everyone has my dirty laundry. So I was raised by a very mentally ill mother, and she never took any accountability for her mental illness, never dealt with it. The damage that she did to me is permanent, and as much as I've tried to kind of work through things, every time we have a serious conversation about trying to mend things, trying to move forward, she kind of undoes all of it with a fight that happens at a later time. There was an incident in October. I don't want to get into the personal details of it, but it was a dangerous situation that involved the well-being of my son and myself. During a conversation after that incident, she blamed me for the abuse that I endured throughout my whole life because I was a difficult toddler. I was a difficult baby. And it just made me realize that there was never going to be accountability. It was always going to be my fault. And now that I'm an adult, I can be the scapegoat and everything is my fault. I instigate things. I hold on to the past. I don't accept an apology, etc. I let myself fall for a lot of tactics, and I tried to believe that this person was going to change because I try to assume the best in others, and I try to hold people to realistic standards and expectations, but I realized I couldn't hold any expectations. Nothing was going to change, and the way that I was treated is going to continue because I'm still treated very poorly by this person and then made out to be the bad guy when I call her out for it. There's a lot of toxicity and a lot of bad feelings, and I don't think that relationship is mendable, period. And it's not something I want my son around, and she's not a person that I want my son around. There were other things that happened, things that she said, things that she did that were crossed a line, absolutely crossed a line. So she's not allowed to be in my son's life, and she's not somebody that I would trust to be alone with him. That's all I'm going to say on that situation. I had decided if I wanted to put more information out and kind of tell like my entire story, but I've decided against it because I think it's going to have an impact on me in a way that's not going to be helpful, and I don't want it to have an impact on my children. About my children, I have always said that I'm going to keep them off the internet. I am going to talk about E as if he's an only child because R is not born yet. I make an effort to not share any clear identifying shots of his face. There's side profiles, there's shots from afar, whatever. He's also super young still. As he gets older, I'm going to show even less of him in videos and online in general. I don't share his name. I don't share his birth date. I don't share any information that I think could be personal or private. We don't share doctor's appointments. I don't share, potty training things for detail. I don't update constantly on milestones. I don't think it's inappropriate to say, hey, my kid started walking, or hey, we started potty training. I don't think that's crossing a line at all. I'm just not going to show you videos of us potty training. I think that's really weird. I try really hard not to film him when he's not fully clothed, like if he's just in a diaper. I don't think that needs to be on the internet. And I just try to be really respectful of his privacy because I was not given that. All of my personal information as a child was posted to Facebook without my consent, and I was told that I was sensitive for not wanting it up there, and it was a fight to get it taken down. So I don't want to do that to my child. I don't think it's harmful to share the adventures that we get up to or some daily life things, but I might regret that in the future. I have no idea. We make the best decisions we can at the time. When a woman posts anything on the internet with her child, the comments are always, where's the daddy? I know a lot of moms that post on the internet and their partners, their husbands, boyfriends, whatever, don't want to be on the internet. They don't want to be filmed. They don't want to be recorded. Or they work all day, or they're away, or she's a single mom by choice or something. Like, there's so many different scenarios. People don't know, and people post the most judgmental crap when they see a woman with a baby and no man. And I'm not feeding into it. So you can keep speculating and questioning where the daddy is, because I'm not getting into it. I have a very good relationship with my child's father, who is in heaven, by the way. And I have a very good relationship with his mother. And she is actually planning on flying down to see us. And I'm very, very excited for that and very, very thankful for that. And my children are very planned and very wanted, and my firstborn took over 3 years to conceive, and I thought that I was never going to have children. I thought I was never going to be able to be a mom, and then it happened, and God's will and God's timing and God's plan is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So I got my son. He took so long, and then R kind of just happened. R was a surprise. That being said, surprise, not accident. Things just happened a lot faster this time than I expected, because last time it took 3 years and this time it took no time at all. So the situation from 5 years ago versus a year ago versus last month has changed. Like, it changes so quickly, so drastically, and I have gone from having so much stability to having no stability, and I feel like a lot of it's out of my control. So I'm doing the best I can with what I have, and we're staying positive, and we're working towards what we want and what we need, and I'm not feeling stressed in that regard because I know it always works out, as it always has. I am panicking about what I'm going to do as a single mom with 2 kids under 2 years, because that was not in the bingo cards. I was not expecting to not have a village and to be completely on my own. So I'm a little anxious about that, realistically, but I know it's not going to be impossible, and I know it's going to be really, really hard for the first like 4 to 6 months, and then it's going to be really fun. I had said in the video that the dogs weren't drinking, and it was only the first day, and those dogs are hard to get to drink water at home on a good day. So I wasn't like super worried about them. I figured I would give it a little bit of time for them to kind of adjust, and they're very picky about what bowls they'll drink out of and the temperature of the water, and it's ridiculous, but they're Chihuahuas, so what do you expect? I didn't think that was going to be such a controversial thing to say, that the dogs were not drinking water that day, because they did end up drinking that night, and they have been drinking no problem ever since. They just, I don't know if they weren't thirsty or what, but they've been eating, drinking, running, playing. They've been thriving. They've been doing so much better than they were in that environment with that much stress. And I would never put the dogs in a situation where they weren't safe or that they weren't being taken care of. So I just want to clarify that. People were upset about the dogs being left in the RV during the day because it's still a vehicle and therefore it was like not safe or whatever. They were left windows open. There's people on the property. They were not left for longer than, I don't know, a couple hours at a time. They had food and water. They're in the shade. It's parked in the shade. It doesn't get hot in there. And I never left them during the hottest part of the day. And I also know that giving these disclaimers is not going to change people's minds on things. Like, you're entitled to your opinion or whatever. They were not in any danger. There were also a few people that were really pissy about me letting the baby sleep in the unlocked air-conditioned car while being monitored. We were parked on the property. I was keeping a very close eye on him. Again, there's nothing I can say to change your mind on the matter if that's how you feel about it, but I don't think it's harmful or dangerous in any way, shape, or form, because he was completely shaded and sheltered. He was a good temperature. And anyway, like I said, I'm not going to be able to change anybody's minds on those things. He doesn't typically nap in the car. Like, I know that I posted a comment that he's had multiple car naps, and in his life he's had multiple, but he doesn't do it every day. It's not all the time. It's a rare occasion when he's sleeping in the car right now and I'm sitting here. I don't think it's any different if I'm sitting in the car or if I'm sitting outside of the car. Oh, there were a couple of people that were saying I'm not homeless because I have a trailer to stay in, and I'm not homeless because I have a car or something, which I think is just really silly. I understand that homelessness is a spectrum, and there's a difference between having a trailer to stay in and living on the streets in a tent. But at the same time, if you are living in a car without consent, like you're just kind of forced to live in your car because you can't afford an apartment or you were kicked out of your situation or whatever, that's homeless. If you are living in a motel because you can't afford a home, that's homeless. If you are living in a shelter, like a women's shelter or something, that's homeless. I think sheltered versus unsheltered is a different thing. We are sheltered, we don't have a home. The RV is not mine, it's very temporary. We only have it till the end of July. We're very, very fortunate to have power and running water and shelter. We have shelter, and I'm very thankful for that. We are homeless. Lots of things can be true at once, and I don't say that to try to clickbait or get attention or anything, but we don't have a home right now. So I don't even know why I have to justify that, but there were a couple people that were saying that I was not homeless. I don't know if they were trolls or if they were genuine, but either way, I'm not really sure what else to say. I feel like that covers everything from last video and all the comments that came up on it. I'm not a content creator. I've never intended on being a content creator. I think maybe when I was like 11, I thought it would be really fun. I used to pretend to vlog on I had a Galaxy tab, and I would film myself doing a Q&A type video. It was very cringy, but I just wanted to be popular. And then I get some sort of popularity and I panic. So I am just a person. I'm not, a celebrity or something. I am not a content creator. I'm not trying to exploit my life. I'm not trying to post juicy content to get clicks. I posted that video because it's the type of video I always post on this channel, and it got attention. My children are my number one priority, and obviously I take care of myself too. I'm doing my best to juggle everything. I just have a lot on my plate right now. If you enjoy my content for some reason, you're more than welcome to stay. If you want to follow along on my journey as we get an apartment and kind of get back on my feet, you're more than welcome to come along. I don't mind. I don't want to like come across as unfriendly. I'm just panicking a little because that's a lot of people all of a sudden to be watching my stuff. That being said, I do not have an upload schedule. I can't guarantee when I'm going to be posting or what I'm going to be posting, but it's important to me for my content to stay authentic and to stay not forced. So I'm going to be doing my best to kind of share what I feel like I want to share, what I'm comfortable sharing, what I need to share, etc., and see what the next adventure is in this life, because my life, like I said, is a soap opera and very chaotic, and I want to get back to just adventuring and posting like travel videos and stuff as I had before. But for now, it's going to be trying to get an apartment and trying to not be homeless and trying to figure out money and trying to figure out maternity leave and trying to figure out 2 kids under 2 years and trying to take care of my younger sibling and trying to mend relationships and trying to figure out who's in my corner. And there's a lot going on. In case you couldn't tell, there is a lot going on. So it's going to be chaotic over here for a while. I try to keep a very positive outlook on things, and I try to keep faith, and I try not to post negative stuff on this channel just because I'm not interested in watching negative stuff, so I don't think anybody else would want to. This is kind of my mindset on it. Anyway, if you've been here for a long time and you're also going, ah, you're not the only one. I'm also kind of going, ah. And if you're new here, like I said, you can stay if you want to. You don't have to. I'm not gonna have my feelings hurt. And some people were asking if I had a Cash App. I don't even know what Cash App is. I'm Canadian. I don't know if we have Cash App. I have PayPal and I have e-transfer. But I don't want your money. I don't need your money. That's okay. A lot of people have been offering me money and I don't need it. I don't like asking for help and I don't like accepting help. If we were like actually legitimately on the streets with nothing, obviously I wouldn't be stupid. I would take the help. But right now I'm very stubborn and determined to do it by myself. So I really appreciate the support. I actually was thinking about doing a GoFundMe if I needed it. But right now I have the help from the ministry and we're doing everything we can, and I'm working really hard, and there are deer on the beach, and it's really pretty. Do you want to see the deer on the beach? I'm going to show you. They just walk down there, and they're in the water. Yeah, we've been thriving. We're doing great. The circumstances are difficult. I'm very overwhelmed, but I'm very thankful and very blessed. And I thank Jesus every single day for what we have and the opportunities we've been given and everything I've got to do with my very young life so far. I think we're going to the museum today to try to get out for a little bit, and I might take the dogs for a walk later. They actually stayed with my younger sibling last night, so they're not at the RV alone for anybody freaking out that I didn't bring them. I think if you're gonna watch strangers on the internet, you kind of have to trust that they know their lives better than you do, and trust that people know what they're doing. I know that's hard nowadays. People are quite stupid, I think. I like to think I'm not one of them. I've made bad choices and I've made questionable choices, and we're definitely in a funky situation right now, but like I said, I don't regret it. I'm feeling a little not great about wasting 5 years of my life trying to mend things with people that didn't want to mend things with me. But it is what it is, you know, and we learn and then we grow and we move on, and there are only good things in the future, and it's going to be a lot of work and it's going to be hard, but it's going to be super rewarding. We have an apartment viewing today. We're about to go in a couple of minutes. I don't know if it's a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, because when I got the email back, they said 2-bedroom, and then when I called to ask for a viewing, they said it was a 1-bedroom. So I have no idea. We'll have to see when we go in. I also have to call the ministry on Monday to figure out how they're going to help with rent and like damage deposits and stuff, because I think this one's out of budget for me for what I have saved. I could only afford the $1,500 one because it was $1,500 plus a half month rent. Half month's rent. Words are hard. This one I think is 17. So it's a bit more, and I think they require more. I don't know. I'm going to talk to them about it and see. If they require half month's rent for a pet deposit, then Doopy is going to have to wait until I have extra money to pay the pet deposit to bring her. So we'll work it out. But I gotta go talk to them and see what they have, what's included, parking, water, etc. Gonna have a lot to talk about. Gooby is still sleeping, but I'm gonna wake him up because we have to go in a couple minutes. So wish us luck. reinforcements too.
Hello doggies. Hi doggies. Hello doggies. Hi doggies.
Why are you on the floor? Do you need a new butt? We're doing a family outing to the museum apparently.
Concept. Movie theater. Oh, thanks.
We are sharing lunch in the back of the car. I got some chicken and wedges from Save-On. We need to get an air fryer and I need some sauce because we got chicken strips and hash browns so I can make a proper dinner. And Gooby will eat cold chicken strips as well, so I have lunch. We're back. I also went and looked at 2 apartments today. They're just expensive. There was one I was looking at that was a 1 bedroom and it was $2,000 a month. And it included nothing. It didn't even include water. So that's ass. I've collected some applications and I'm going to call the ministry on Monday to see how much they can cover and for how long they can cover for, because I'm not going to be able to sustain that kind of rent when I go on leave. So I have a bunch of questions I have to ask the ministry guy, and then I have to put in applications, and then I have to work out hydro and renter's insurance, and then we'll go from there. Littlest, middle, then big one. What would you like? What's that? Do you want to eat? I had a Ziploc of ice and I took it away because it was melting. What would you like? Waffles? Blueberries. You always want blueberries. Okay, we'll wait. One after another. And cue all of the people telling me not to give him whole blueberries. I love getting parenting advice from strangers on the internet. I'm feeling a little betrayed by my mom friends and fellow moms because nobody warned me about the stage between 1 year and 2 years where they fall over trying to put your shoes on. Trying to keep him alive is so difficult. It's been a very long day. We saw a couple of apartments and they were ridiculously expensive. I went to see a 1 bedroom and they wanted $2,095 a month plus all utilities. They wanted an additional $100 for a parking spot and they wanted an additional full month's rent for security deposit and pet deposit. So they wanted over $4,000 up front to move in, and oh, I just can't even believe it. He's a menace. My shoe. So I'm not feeling optimistic about the apartment situation. I'm trying to. There's still the ones downtown that I was looking at that are, I think it's $1,500, and I have that put aside. I have the security deposit put aside and I have the first month's rent put aside. So even if the ministry can't help with deposits, if they can help with rent, like maintaining the rent, or at least if I can work and then they can help me when I go on maternity leave, that would help. I don't know. I have to call them on Monday and see what they're able to do, because right now I'm at my wit's end. I did the math and I'd have to work probably 45, 50 hours a week in order to sustain the cost of living. And I earn $5 above minimum wage. But when your apartment is $2,000, you have a bunch of utilities, you have a car, God forbid you have to pay for childcare. I know the car is like a huge expense, but like I said, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm stuck with that for the next couple of years, unless I win the lottery and pay it off early. I know the one that I looked at that was $1,800 is not something that I want to go with. It just is not worth the money. And the 2001, I wouldn't pay that even if it was someone else's money. So we're gonna default back to the original one that I was looking at, but I have to call them and try to get a hold of them so I can pay the deposit so that I actually know that I have a place to live. Because we only have, that's dangerous. We only have accommodation until the end of July, and then I'm back in the car. So I gotta figure something out. Because surprise, surprise, even if you have a trailer, you're still homeless. I'm gonna end the video here. We need to make dinner. I need to clean up the kitchen and do bedtime and all that, and I need to get editing. So I'm not gonna go all the way to bedtime. It is just about hour 17 now. Thanks for watching. Ta-da.